Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at the Oris Aquis Chronograph. You can see this imposing dive chronograph on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. You can also click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time to see our full listing for this watch with accessories included, additional high-res images, and of course, full pricing information. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see that the Aquis Chronograph actually verges on the scale of Oris's largest dive watches, the Pro Dive models. This one's really somewhere between the conventional Aquis dive watch and the Pro Dive series because it's simply massive. You can see the profile of the case. This one's 18.5 millimeters thick, and you can see that across the round of the case, a nominal 46 millimeters. Nevertheless, because of the crown guards, the pushers, and the crown, it is hard to find a measurement diagonally at 46 millimeters. It wears far larger. Now, the lug-to-lug span is mighty indeed. This watch, 54 millimeters from extremity to extremity, really does fill up the entirety of your wrist. Now, it's a great value-based alternative to something oversized and overblown, and some might even say overpriced. So if you're looking for value and a solid, highly functional Swiss mechanical timepiece, this one really delivers at a price point that's surprising. Now, let me point out some of the key features of this watch. Entirely in titanium, it has a lightness to it that really belies its immense size. It does look like a boomer missile sub on your wrist. It doesn't feel like it though. It has a little bit of a lightness and a wieldiness to it that forgives some of those gargantuan proportions. What it also has is a superb bracelet. Now you can see that the bracelet is both tapered and contrasting finish, which is to say it tapers away from the lugs. This is something Rolex didn't properly address with the Deep Sea, which is essentially a bracelet that's as wide as the broad lugs of an oversized watch. Unlike the Deep Sea, this one stays nice and planted on the wrist with no tendency to torque laterally. You can also see the bracelet itself is actually fairly sculpted with 3 dimensions to the links. There's a gorgeous contrast of satin down the center with polish on the sides, and you can see that the lugs themselves, because this is a massive watch, are actually fixed with screws. So we're not talking spring pins here. The lugs themselves are threaded, and the watch is that much more secure on the wrist because of it. It's actually a more expensive way to make a lug, strap, or bracelet interface, but here Oris has spent the money in the right place. Security comes first. Now the watch does feature a twin trigger, single fold deployant clasp that is very robust. It feels approximately as sturdy as those made by Omega, which is to say it's on par with the best in the business. Also on par with the best in the business is the fully machined flip lock extension. Now flip lock is Rolex speak, but you can see that the effect is the same. It's a diving extension par excellence, very sturdy. There's no sense of a stamped clasp or a spindly member in there. This feels very robust, and it's on par with the rest of this fantastic bracelet. When it closes very secure, and again, with twin triggers, you have to positively release it. It cannot pop open incidentally or accidentally. Now, looking at the case itself, it's actually very subtle. Highly legible. Oris nails that bit. It's the combination of polished and brushed or satin finished elements that really set this watch apart for a purely utilitarian take on the sports watch. This watch is remarkably nuanced. You can see the polish of the pushers and the crown against the satin of the crown guard. You can see the brushed tungsten insert of the bezel. Yes, virtually scratch-resistant tungsten. This is a more durable material in many ways than ceramic because it cannot fracture, but at the same time, it is so much more robust than an anodized aluminum insert, which is easily scratched and disfigured. Oris finds a great material in a perfect tonal complement to the gray dial and, of course, the contrasting finish of the case. So you have that beautiful satin bezel, and then moving inboard, a gorgeous matte gray dial. Now, it's not a sunburst. It's actually a matte gray, and that keeps reflections and the play of light under control. Very important in a timepiece that's meant to be legible above all. And you can see it as a tri-register chronograph, so hours, minutes, and seconds, with the date nicely anchored at 6 o'clock for symmetry and balance. You can see that the watch features very little in terms of superfluous flourishes. It's extremely legible, the hands are broad and loomed, and all of the polished and applied indices, again, Oris spending money in the right place once more, really pop out. Now what it has is a gorgeous grayscale treatment from the bracelet to the case to the bezel insert in tungsten, right down to the dial. Stylistically, this is one of the most coherent watches I've seen. It's also one of the toughest watches I've seen. With a 500-meter diving depth, it does have a built-in helium escape valve. Again, this is value added that you may never need, but getting more than you need is the definition of luxury, and with Oris, you get a bargain on it. Now, looking on the case back, you can see there are actually conversion factors, meters to feet for those who may be diving, and the watch features a robust, what's known as Oris caliber 674. Now, you can tell from the dial layout, and if you guessed, you'd probably guess 7750, and you would be right, but it is a true ETA 7750, not a knockoff from some of the brands that are building these calibers now with their patents expired. This is a true ETA 7750, so you're getting the 25 joule original. Unidirectional winding, very robust, 48-hour power reserve. Pull the crown, stop the balance, hack the seconds, and synchronize for a dive, or correct the date using the quit set function should the watch run down or you encounter an irregular length month. This is a watch that's simply packed with value, from the bezel to the dial to the caliber to the case to the bracelet. You're getting a tremendous amount of timepiece, and if you've got the wrist to pull it off, I can't think a better way to step into summer 2016 with a combination of value and style.